I recently tried to import some MIDI that I wrote in Ableton into an MPC project and was pretty baffled as to how they chose to implement this functionality. I thought I'd make a quick video on this. Intuitively, you'd expect to just be able to drag and drop or import MIDI into a desired MPC track, but it doesn't work like that. When you drag in or try to import a MIDI file, the MPC will insist on creating a new sequence for every MIDI file every time. It's very messy and especially sucks if you work with templates or just want to have the MIDI data in an existing sequence or track. There are a bunch of convoluted and time-consuming workarounds online, but I wanted to share a quick tip for getting the MIDI data into the desired track without having to convert the MIDI file beforehand. This to me is the quickest and most painless method of dealing with this problem. Let's jump in. Okay, so here's a blank MPC project, and then you'll see when you drag in a MIDI clip, the first one is just going to automatically make it the first sequence. And it's always going to be on track 1. So there's the kick data. This is a drum kit. Let's do the snare. See, it's going to want you to make another sequence. Do that. Let's do the same with the hi-hat. Do it. So that's the thing. So the kick, snare, and the hats are there, but they're separate sequences, and every time you try and drag in a file, it's going to make a new sequence. And I mean, you can work like that, it's just like I don't want to. So what you should do is then, if say we want to get this whole kit into one MIDI clip, so it's one thing that we can load a kit into, like a drum program. So that's what we're going to do. So the first one is the kick, so leave that, go to the snare. Okay, and then you go to edit, sequence, copy events, and then it gives you this menu. So we want, it'll copy from this sequence, which is the snare, track 1, that's what we want, and we want to copy it to the first one. And we want to say merge, because if you say replace, it's going to kill the kicks, and we actually want all these ones to work together. So merge, and then these snares should be on the kick track now. There it is. Let's do the same with the hats. Same story. Edit. Copy events. Copying from the hats to the kick. And we merge it. There you go. If we go there, then see there they are. Oh, and the other thing is, for some reason it seems to always just do 2 bars. So these are 8-bar loops. So you just make sure you set your loop bar, because you might be excluding stuff. Okay, yeah, and just to show you that it works, let's just create a new program. Let's just drop some quick one-shots on there. Snare. And the kick. And there you go. Now in Standalone, it's the same thing. You go to the browser, find the MIDI file. First one will be a find. The second one, they'll prompt you to do the new sequence. Just say load. Do the same for the hats. Then we go back to the main mode, and there the sequences are. Kick, snare, open, hat. The data is in track 1 of each of these. So to copy these events, we go to click the pencil under sequence and then say events. Then you just specify we want to copy the snare over to the kick, and we want to merge. And then we're going to do the same for the hats. Copy. Merge, and then when you go back to the kick, they should all be there as one thing. You can obviously do this for whatever instrument. I just use a drum kit as an example. It's mostly just about getting the external MIDI into one MPC sequence. From there, you can use the same copy events function to further copy and move the MIDI around between tracks to your liking. The only or biggest downside to this technique is that depending on the amount of MIDI files that you're trying to import, you're going to end up with a lot of dud sequences. But that you can just overwrite, mute, or ignore, although it'll clutter up your project unnecessarily. This is the best solution I could come up with. If you think I'm missing something or if you have a better method to share, please do so in the comments. Hope this helps. Thanks for watching. Tot ziens.